Hey everyone, are you excited about the microbiome? Come on, let me hear it. Dr. Kelman talked a lot about how the microbiome goes right, and I'm going the wrong way. No, and I'm going to talk about what we do when the microbiome goes wrong and how to get it back to the right. So I'm going to go from the micro. Oh no. What are you doing to me? There we go. Do I have to dance here? There we go. Sorry, I'm left-handed, so I see the word world backwards. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Dr. Vincent Pedre. I have been in private practice here in New York City since 2004, and I've been on a long journey getting to functional medicine. Started with becoming a regular internist, then getting certified as a yoga teacher, then learning medical acupuncture, which finally led me to functional medicine. And once I discovered how important and crucial the gut is, I was hooked. My upcoming book, Happy Gut, will be out early next year. So when we look at the gut as a whole and we see all these patients come at us with a myriad of problems, you say like 20 to 30% of Americans have IBS, then about 2% celiac, and another 10%, sorry that got misaligned, but have non-celiac gluten sensitivity. And the patients come in with all these different symptoms, and I remember early in my practice when I heard bloating, gas, constipation, I thought, oh my God, like how am I gonna take care of this? Now when somebody comes in and tells me I have acid reflux, bloating, cramping, constipation, I just say, you had me at bloating. So we're gonna talk about poop. We spend a lot of time on this porcelain pedestal. I calculated if it was a quarter of an hour per day, it's 3.8 days per year. So lots of time, a very important place, and everyone wants to have a happy, healthy gut. So 5 key roles of the gut. We start with digestion, breaking down of the nutrients that we need. And then after that, the absorption of these nutrients. And then, of course, immunity. The biggest presence of our immune system is in the gut. And like Dr. Kelman explained, the interaction between the microbiome and our immune system and how important that is and how it guides and it speaks to the brain, it speaks to the rest of the body through our gut. And then, of course, symbiosis. So they go together with the immune system, the importance of this microbiome. And then detox. So we have to think about the gut as an elimination organ and the importance of being able to get rid of toxins through the gut. It's one of our organs of detoxification. And if somebody is constipated, they're going to be holding on to a lot of toxins or recirculating toxins that they can't get rid of. So when you're looking to balance the gut, you have to balance all these different roles. And then I saw this great article in the Huffington Post, and it was about gut feeling. And we register both fear and intuition in our gut, and we may feel them the same way. What I found was interesting in this article was how to distinguish between the two. Intuition is more of an expansive feeling, whereas fear is emotion-based, and it's kind of like a contraction. But we feel both of those through the gut, and we've heard of the gut as called the second brain. So we know the connection between the gut and the brain. And when I have patients come to see me, I'm never discounting when I'm dealing with their gut that I'm dealing with the entire system, even on an emotional and spiritual basis, because it's all reflected in the gut. And especially people who have gut issues often feel their lives through their guts, and sometimes their guts are telling them something that they are not either expressing or living, or they feel discordant in their lives. They're not doing what they're happy with. They're not speaking up when they should, and they feel this all through the gut. And from working with gut patients, what I've realized is that you cannot discount the effect of anxiety on the gut and how important that is in how it regulates even the way that you digest food. So this is a sad gut. This is what we're trying to avoid. So intuition, nerves, butterflies in the stomach. I used to get those when I performed. When I was a kid, I used to perform piano, and right before I went on stage, I felt like my stomach was doing somersaults. So it's quite an intense feeling. Now I've learned that what it really meant is that I was excited. Not that I was nervous, I was just excited to get on stage. And we don't want that. So dysbiosis. So like Dr. Kelman explained, dysbiosis can happen on multiple different surfaces. The one I concentrate the most on is the gut, but it can happen anywhere in the body, in the respiratory system, the nasal passages, the sinuses, intravaginally. So basically it's a microbial imbalance, and it involves increased levels of harmful bacteria, parasites, yeast, and reduced levels of beneficial ones. And I kind of came up with this diagram of kind of an idea of how this dysbiosis may progress to deeper and deeper levels of disease. So you start with your gut lining is disturbed, and maybe you're drinking too much alcohol, maybe you're really stressed, you've been on several rounds of antibiotics, maybe you've taken an anti-inflammatory because your knee was aching for 2 weeks, so you took an NSAID, and that caused some loosening of the tight junction in the gut. Then second, you start to not absorb nutrients properly as a result of that. And your gut becomes inflamed, and then you might see things in blood tests like IgG levels going up against different foods. Or if you do a stool study, you may see markers for gut inflammation like eosinophil protein X or calprotectin. Then you move on to a leaky gut, and you start getting other symptoms like mental fog, skin rashes, poor concentration, joint pains. And this happens as microbes or pathogenic microbes like yeast get through the gut lining, and you start to absorb their toxins, and they affect your brain. Then you develop food sensitivities, and you see all these different manifestations of the gut, and we see how the gut is connected to so many other conditions: migraines, IBS, eczema, hives, asthma. I mean, I've been amazed in my practice how you can sometimes get a patient's hives to disappear just by taking gluten out of the diet. And I had a patient who had seen 5 dermatologists and was given probably like 5 different steroid creams, and all I did was say, let's take gluten out, and the hives disappeared within a few weeks. So it's amazing what you can accomplish through the gut. Finally, the last step, and you might think that this is linear, and maybe the bottom is, what happens here is time, the time factor. And eventually you can develop autoimmune disease with all this gut dysfunction: rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, Hashimoto's, Sjogren's. So this is a progression. And with dysbiosis, you may see things like yeast overgrowth, candida. I see a lot of that. People have been on multiple antibiotics, and they come in, and they're bloated. And the difficult thing is distinguishing between SIBO and candida. And I see that a lot of times these things occur concurrently, or someone gets treated for SIBO and then they don't work on the repopulation part after the antibiotic, and they actually develop a yeast overgrowth as a result of the antibiotic treatment. So you always have to approach the gut patient as a whole, this whole system. And like Dr. Kelman spoke about, lack of diversity. When I was researching this topic, what I kept finding is that, dysbiosis and disease is a lack of diversity, and what we want is to promote diversity in our gut. So I wanted to make kind of like taking the functional medicine model and making it into something that patients could understand. And I came up with the Gut C.A.R.E program. So it's a gut reboot system. It's a template for fixing the gut. And you can always go back to any step and figure out where you're at and what you need to do in order to get back to health. So the first C stands for cleanse. And with cleanse, we're removing gut irritants, infections, food sensitivities, toxins in foods. Cleanse is huge, because when you talk about cleanse for the gut, you have to think about the toxins in the food, pesticides, and how that affects us. You have to think about the quality of the water that you're drinking. You know, are you drinking water that has heavy metals? Are you drinking water that is really high in chloride because it hasn't been filtered? You know, does it have drug residues in it? Then you have to think about, well, if you're eating healthy, are you cooking healthy? You know, so are you cooking on pots and pans that have non-stick surfaces that are fire retardants and are toxic for our bodies? So you have to think about, you know, a total 360 overhaul when you're cleansing. It's not just about the diet. It's about what you cook on, what you eat on, how you store your food. Do you store your food in plastic containers? So then there's activate. I'm getting the 5-minute? Okay. So with activate, we have to reactivate healthy digestion. So a lot of people come in, and what I find is that they're not producing enough digestive enzymes. Maybe their stomach acid is low. Maybe they have been on a PPI for a long time, and their stomach acid has been suppressed. Maybe they don't produce enough bile salts, or their bile flow is not good. So we have to replace these. Then restore. So we want to restore a healthy bacterial environment. And you can do this through probiotics and prebiotics. And I believe in both, kind of using the probiotic as kind of helping move the symptoms along much faster, but then changing the diet and incorporating prebiotic foods to really promote a change in the diversity of the gut. And then the final step, enhance, is basically we want to repair, regenerate, heal the intestinal lining. We're trying to enhance digestion. We're basically kind of fortifying everything that we've done and try to make it so that we don't go backwards again. And these are some of the nutrients that we might use, like aloe vera, DGL, zinc carnosine for the stomach, L-glutamine, and even colostrum. So finally, if we're culturing a happy gut, we want to rebalance. We're looking at diversity, looking at incorporating cultured foods into the diet, prebiotics, yogurt, kefir, kombucha, like we did today. But we also have to think about meditation and lifestyle, because often these patients that I see that come in with gut issues, they're living a pressured life. They're not creating space for themselves. And they're feeling it in their guts, but what they don't realize is how broad it is. It's beyond just what they're feeling here at their core, the core of their being. And this is what our goal. This is what we want, and we don't want this. I thought that was kind of funny. This is my upcoming book, Happy Gut. It's going to be out next January, and you can visit happygutlife.com, and I would invite you to join my email list. And this is the way to contact me. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much for watching, and for more great clips like this, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. I've created a special free video just for you called Harnessing the Power of Community in Your Practice, and it'll give you a clinical model, practical tools that double as marketing, and strategies to develop a community of your peers. All you have to do is click on the link below.